Interview and job search strategies that work. Recently, the came to my realization that change, right? Change in leadership, change in management, change in the whole dynamic of the company, basically. So, what am I talking about, and how does it pertain to jobs and all that? Well, I'll tell you. Um, you're working in a place, and you've been there how long, right? A year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever, and everything's going great, right? And you've had to adapt a couple of times to the company, right? Basically, and it's just human nature, right? Like, I'm good. I don't want to apply anywhere else. I'm content here. I'm fine. It happens. That's just normal, right? And then one day, the company just does something so dramatic, basically like, no, we want you to work more. We were gonna, you were working remote, but we're not gonna do that anymore. We want you to work here. We want you to be butt in seat now, right? And and so you can imagine, your whole your setup of your lifestyle has changed because here you were working from home completely, and now they're like, oh no, we want to change it up and we want you to work in the office. Like, without any explanation. So you're just to assume that that's the best thing. Okay, they made a good decision, and for whatever reason, who knows? It's most likely probably somebody who's taking advantage of the work from home schedule. That's probably what's going on, and probably somebody or some other team is jealous because people are working, who are working from home, and they feel, oh, I have to be in the office. And but guess what? They're a salesperson. They deal with the customer. The IT staff doesn't have to do that as much, really. And so that person has the ear of the CEO or the CTO, whoever it is, whoever makes the decision. They have the ear of that person, and suddenly that becomes an idea that should be acted upon. Oh yeah, I think that's a great idea. What happens is with that is a ripple effect, because when you go from work from home to working in the office, here's what happened: your motivation goes down, way down. Your productivity goes way down. But here you were working from home, very productive. You had your set schedule. You woke up. You woke up. You logged in the computer, checked your email. Ate breakfast, whatever. Took the kids to school or whatever it is, like that. And then you came back home and you continue with your meeting, or you had a set schedule, right? And then all of a sudden it's just disrupted because of presumably one person. You don't know that, right? But that can be the case sometimes, where whatever, for whatever reason, they don't explain to you why. Why is it that we're working more in the office? It doesn't make any sense, but there again, that's the company. That's how they do it. And unfortunately, that's just how it is, right? When you need a job, you need money, you do that, right? And everybody has actually probably experienced that. Maybe not the work from home portion, but just having to say, "Gosh, boy, I wish I would just, I just want to have enough money to where I don't have to work anymore," right? And of course, lottery is an option, right? But your chances of winning a lottery are not very good, basically, right? There's a lot of people, a lot of competition. I don't even know what the odds are, but it's not, if you're betting on winning a lottery, it's not going to happen, right? So the other option is to, just deal with it, right? Deal with the changes that come about, and and sometimes what happens is there's something in the brain that says, oh no, they've gone too far, basically like, okay, that's the last straw. I've had it, I've been over backwards for you guys, and now you're doing this for me. I'm good. I'm good, And so the thought is like, okay, let me find another job, or even better yet, maybe start a company. Maybe start a Udemy course, earn some extra income somehow, right? So you're not having to work there anymore. So you're not having to um, say, okay, I need to work there, right, for a job, because you just never know. You never know. Tomorrow they could say, we're good, we're going to lay you off or whatever, right? Or they could make it so difficult to where, you have to be butt in seat all day, every day, all day, 12 hours a day. They could change your schedule. They could do whatever, right? Because of the company. And, again, it's based on the needs of the customer, right? So if you kind of, unless you own your own company, unless you're financially independently wealthy, right? You have to deal with this type of stuff, right? And looking for a job, I think, is just going from one have to work for money to another have to work for money, and it's every time it's just a little increase of have to work for money, right? So I have to work for less. So basically, what happens is I have to work for less money, meaning I don't have to because I make more, therefore I don't, I have more money, and so I have a little bit of a cushion, right? So, I'll put up with whatever it is that the company wants me to put up with. If it's, oh, I'm sorry you have to work, but you don't understand. I have to take my kid to the dentist. No, you have to work. Okay, well that's one example, right? Basically, of like, oh, yeah, okay. Do I need the job? I do. My kid needs to go to the dentist, huh? Yeah, let me weigh that a little bit, right? And so you have to shuffle your schedule around. And the reason they wanted you to work because you had to miss your kid going to the dentist was because there's some meeting or something, right? Somebody important's coming in to the office and they want you there, right? For whatever reason, right? And that person doesn't even talk to you, right? So you're like, and and sometimes it happens where you're like, why was I even needed to be here? There's no reason. Well, we just, we needed you here. Why? Well, because, that comes down to probably leadership, really, or lack of leadership in my mind, really. When a company doesn't understand its people, and I know in a couple other podcasts I talk about this, where when your company, the managers, when you have a manager, meaning the manager, you work for the manager, right? But if a leader works for you, that's how that works. And typically managers micromanage. They want to make sure they know everything going on. And when you talk to them and you kind of press them on certain issues, oh no, well just talk to such and such or whatever, right? Kind of pass the puck a little bit instead of saying, instead of explaining like, oh, that's why, huh? Okay, having a real conversation with somebody versus just giving a canned response, right? That's the difference between a leader and a manager. A leader is going to be like, hey, I understand, or here's why. Because everybody in a job wants to know why. Why am I doing this? Why is it relevant? Because, people when they work at a company, they do feel like they own the task. They have ownership of it, right? And they just want to be led into conversations. They want to know what's going on. Tell them what's going on. Why should it be such a big secret? All of a sudden that it's like, can't tell you. Only management can know. Like, why? Just explain to your people what's going on. So yeah. Anyway, so that is I guess the moral of the story is, have yourself set up for a job, or always be interviewing, and that way you don't have to worry about the situation. You have a little bit of cushion. Don't get yourself in debt, basically, to where you're forced to have to work for somebody that you don't want to. That's the key right there. I don't know if you've listened to Dave Ramsey. He's a guy on the podcast there, and he talks about Financial Peace University or whatever, but it's got a lot of cool things he talks about. I myself don't listen to it that much anymore. I like to listen to the podcasts that are like entrepreneurial stuff or networking podcasts. I like to listen to those. Packet Pushers is a pretty good podcast to listen to because, I can't have a conversation with everybody, right? But what I can do in other fields, basically, right? Or how things work, right? But what I can do is I can listen to the podcast and kind of get an idea of what's going on. And then from that, I can say, okay, I can pull that information out of there. Like, for instance, learning about Kubernetes from Packet Pushers. That led me into something else about networking, right? And then, of course, if you follow my blog, I'm trying to get my CCNA again, right? So, it's I don't know that I necessarily need it, but it's just something I want to do, right? So I gave myself 90 days. I'm probably like 10 days in, and I'm probably like 1% completed with it or whatever, but neither here nor there. But, I think that's going to help me in the future with a JOB or a skill that I need to have, basically. And yeah. So, appreciate everybody listening to this podcast, and have a great day.